So recently I've heard a lot of questions about Texas tight end currently on the roster, JaTavion Sanders, a former 5-star recruit in the 2021 class out of Denton Ryan, 13th ranked overall recruit in Texas football history, and the number one athlete in his class. Now, before we talk about that, I first wanted to highlight something that Steve Sarkisian said that I thought was incredibly important. And again, you guys, that if you pay attention to the channel, how outspoken I've been about this coaching staff and why it's different to me, and why we're going to continue to see things sort of progress. Maybe a little slower than some of us out there may like to see, but we all saw the Xavier Worthy fumble on the kickoff return that turned out to be a crucial mistake for Texas in the Cotton Bowl. I read a tweet from Joe Cook on Twitter. It said, and I'll actually post this too so you guys can see. Texas wide receiver Xavier Worthy said Steve Sarkisian went up to him post-fumble and said, "Give me a smile." Just those 4 words right there. Give me a smile. So as a player, man, you can imagine how difficult of a situation that must have been for Xavier Worthy to accept and to swallow and to try and overcome. But to me, I don't see any reason why that's not. To me, it's just not a coincidence why Xavier Worthy was able to bounce back so quickly on the very next drive, the ensuing drive, and make 2 big crucial catches from Casey Thompson to make up for the mistake and get his team back into the game and have a chance to win. So that type of coaching right there, I think, carries a lot of weight with not only players but a young team like Texas has a ton of key contributors that are either in their first or second year, i.e. Casey Thompson, even though he's not in his first year at the university, it's his first full year starting. Bijan Robinson in his second year, really first year getting a full line of work. And Xavier Worthy, obviously the true freshman, right? I think Texas got a taste of what it's like to have a little bit of success. They proved to themselves that they're talented enough to go out there and dominate a top 5 team in the country, top 6 team in the country for a full half of football. Now, they also found out that things can change rather quickly if you don't have enough depth, especially up front in the trenches. And also, if you just kind of lose track or just lose focus and stop filling run assignments and gap assignments, and you can't pressure the quarterback when the play breaks down. So that brings me to the next point about JaTavion Sanders and where he's been. I'll post a clip of my conversation that I had with Steven from Fanatic Perspective recently.
The tight end position, and you'll hear Steve Sarkisian talk about the importance of that position within his offense. Outside of the quarterback, I would argue that it's up there, top 2 or 3 as far as just the role that position specifically plays within the offense. They ask a lot of you. So for a guy going from high school, and he's obviously the best athlete on the field at all times, and so it's a little bit easier to kind of just assert yourself in a position that you're not necessarily familiar. That's not your original spot on the field. But to learn how to block, to learn how to run block and pass protect, it's 2 very difficult things to master. We even see that at the NFL level. Like tight ends do not translate very easily from college to
it takes time.
And the same thing is
Dalton Schultz. The light bulb's just now coming on for Dalton Schultz.
Just now clicking. Yeah, it literally it takes a lot of time, but it's because you are asked to be. You're almost an extension of the offensive line.
From the get-go, he's always wanted to play tight end, and that has been acknowledged and said from JaTavion Sanders himself to members of the Horns 247 community that are big time in the recruiting trail and are in all the know as far as all that's concerned. That's always been the desire to play the offensive side of the football. So first of all, there has to be a want to from his side of things to flip over and play the defensive side of the ball. Now, the reason why that comment or that question has been posed is because the loss of Jacoby Jones, which was obviously a big one for the Texas defensive front, had a foot injury. He had surgery on, so he's most likely going to be done for the season. Not exactly sure on that timetable, but Texas has problems stopping the run, and the 2 best teams that they've played this season so far have each gone for over 300 yards rushing on the ground, and that to me is just unacceptable. So that's just kind of getting your will snatched and playing undisciplined, unfundamental football, missing tackles, all that type of stuff. We saw tons of missed tackles on Kennedy Brooks in that Cotton Bowl game, and quite a few more at in the TCU game on both Zach Evans and Max Duggan. I was in attendance for that one too, so I saw that firsthand as well. So you may be wondering, why isn't JaTavion Sanders getting reps on the other side of the football and providing, maybe a spark there? Well, like I said, there's got to be a want to. That's a position when you're lining up on the line of scrimmage and having to basically just ram up against offensive linemen and just go toe to toe with the big boys in the trenches against your will. It's not a fun thing to do if it's not what you really want to try and do. Now, a lot of people may say, well, he's got to do whatever he has to do to help his team win. And while I do agree, it's also his career and it's his job. If he can provide and show some of the things that we saw at Denton Ryan in high school on the offensive side of the ball, then maybe it is worth the wait. So to me, though, the key is you try it out, right? You get 4 games in college football these days now to let these freshman kids, these incoming players in a new situation with a new coaching staff, right? Feel it out, test the waters, get their feet wet, and see what happens. So, if it doesn't work for, 1 to 2, 3 to 4 games, then guess what? You can call it quits and he can still save his red shirt since he's buried on the depth chart at the tight end position anyways. So to me, I would just like to see if that powerful, explosive, 6'3.5", 240 some odd pound frame can provide the Texas defense with something that it doesn't otherwise have right now. And Steve Sarkisian has also reiterated as much in his most recent press conference. I will try to get that clipped and pasted in this video as well right here so that you can see that from him verbatim.
Played better throughout the year. The one thing we would all love is just to be this unbelievable pass rushing football team. That's not really how we're built. So we got to be stout. We got to have really good rush lanes and not let quarterbacks escape through the pocket and try to collapse the pocket. And that's an area that we'll.
But Steve Sarkisian basically said that they're having to find other ways to deploy their defensive front because they don't necessarily have the body types and the skill set to rush the passer and create havoc in the backfield by, just getting to the quarterback, basically, for lack of a better term there. So I want to know what you guys think, man. Let me know. Would you like to see JaTavion Sanders see what he can bring to the defensive side of the football, maybe create some splash plays for this defense that obviously needs it? I got full faith in Pete Kwiatkowski to get things righted, but, again, it obviously there has to be a want to. And so those are just my thoughts, guys. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this content, I hate to have to remind you, it's not something that I enjoy doing, but it is something that's necessary to help me grow and to help me get picked up by the YouTube algorithm. It's actually a real thing. I use the YouTube Studio app, which is pretty cool. It's got a lot of data and analytics there. It tells you, or it tells me basically that 73% of my viewers are unsubscribed viewers. So I know it's easy to forget to do, and it's something that's not necessarily on your mind if you just chilling at home, browsing, and stumbled across this video. But I do thank you for watching. So if it's not too much to ask, it's super easy, and it's even more free to do. All you got to do is just hit that red subscribe button on my channel. Like I said, it really helps me out a lot.